Right, good afternoon Internet, it's Alistair and Samantha here from Lazarus Training. You probably know that because you've probably seen this via our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. But being British, I just feel I should say hello. Continuing our series of videos about using the Splint. I explained the whys and wherefores and some of the basic shaping techniques on our last video. So this is going to be a shorter one and we're going to move on to dealing with an injury to the arm. Now, the other day, poor Kelly had hurt her wrist. Now, Samantha's going to have hurt either her lower arm here or the elbow. And obviously, in all the first aid courses, we talk about how we'd recognise fractures and stuff. So this is just a reminder video of how we can splint it using this if we're in a remote or hostile environment and we've got to move the casualty towards help. So this would probably be supported in some way, maybe even tucked inside your clothing, Napoleon style. And I've got my splint. Now remember, the idea of these is that if you bend it, it will get stronger. But they're flexible enough that we can mould it around the person's injuries. And one of the kind of key things we will always do is we'll use the person themselves to help us prepare everything. So as the arm is being supported by the clothing, I'm free to do what I need with this arm. My ambition is basically to have something coming from the hand, along, around the elbow and back. And we can see we've got some extra material there, so I'm going to fold it out of the way. Now, I come back to the side that's injured, it's her left arm. So we need to think about the positions it's going to go in. We want there to be something quite good to grip hold of because the hand needs to stay in a position of functionality. And a little push in there, that's kind of quite good. Make a bit of a C shape coming along here and that bend with where Sam's elbow was. So I can anticipate the bend coming back along here, something like this. Now when it comes to dealing with the actual injured arm, we clearly be more gentle than I'm demonstrating here. I'm trying to get into that sort of position. Moving this gently around the edges. You can see there the flexibility of the Splint. Around the elbow it comes and across the top. A little nudge there, tiny kink there. I haven't used my hands a bit more on this bit because it folded over doubles the strength. And you can see the idea. It's sometimes called the sugar tongs effect of the splint. And I have a bandage here to help me secure it. Just going to go around the arm somewhere around the wrist to begin with. Then we're going to come over and secure it around the fingers. Now I know I'm trying not to cover the fingers because I could use those to assess the circulation. But Samantha has got some wonderful nail polish on today, so I'd have to do it in some other ways like blanching of the skin. And then I'm doing this round to support it. Now the purist in me suggests that maybe we should get rid of the fleece from underneath the splint. But there's something to be said for it in the remote areas, in that it can act as a bit of padding and stops the splint rubbing against anything and causing any discomfort. Now, I'm sure anyone that works in a fracture clinic will shudder when they see the final effect, but hopefully those of us working in remote or hostile areas can see that that's providing a lot of support through this area as I mobilise the elbow in the position that we would normally put it into a sling. I can access the fingers to check for blanching the skin, check for circulation, and hopefully that's not too tight. Not too uncomfortable, considering you break your elbow right there. Yeah, but it's still got a better flexibility. So if there was any swelling, if we wanted to take it off to change the layer of clothing, i.e. remove it or add because of temperature, really simple structure of a splint to do. Now my ambition is that tomorrow, if we remember, apologies we forgot yesterday, then we'll go for looking at a splint for the upper arm, the humerus as well. And yes, once again, our Splint is going to be central in doing all of that. So, as always, if you've got any questions, queries or comments, just drop us a line. If you're watching this via Facebook, obviously you can comment. YouTube, you can comment, but we screen those before they kind of go online. And then obviously you can drop us a line at the office. But there we go, Splint used to mobilise injuries to the elbow end of the forearm or indeed the elbow itself. Many more uses to come on the videos. See you soon.